Good morning, everybody. It is March 22nd, 8:25 a.m. Market moved pretty high yesterday, a little unexpected. A little extra push towards the middle of the day to the end of the day to the close. Big day today, FOMC. We're looking at a FOMC statement at 2:30. It's a press conference, so that should cause a lot of volatility today. See with my watch list here. I made it bigger. Maybe I don't know if anybody has a hard time seeing it, um, but I'm gonna see how this goes and how this looks. So let's look up at the futures. Okay, so what do we have? We have the VIX. VIX at VIX is up 1.12%. 10-year yields up 0.94%. I said the 10-year yields up 0.94. Let's see what else. Bitcoin's slightly up 0.32, and the Dow's flat. ES is down 0.08. Russell's down zero point 0.1. Well, 0.09. Nasdaq's down 0.19. Dollars down slightly. I mean, all these are waiting for the FOMC. Crude is slightly down 0.27%. Bonds are being sold, hence 10-year yield moving up. Okay, let's move over to top sector stocks. Who is a little bit of a leader? We got Baba, Tesla, Nvidia. Nvidia got an upgrade. Meta actually got an upgrade. So that's what's leading. What's lagging? Boeing. I just saw signed a contract, I believe, for China, but it's down 1.33%. Google's down 1.66%. Okay, let's move over to top sector stocks. Let's see. Disney is leading the pack here. And any lagger, I wouldn't call that a lagger, but Roblox down 0.34%. Let's go into the sectors. Sectors leading the pack, financials up 0.28, not by a lot. Laggards, communications, that's Google, 0.3 down 0.37, and really not much to speak of there as far as that goes. Good look at the FedWatch tool. FedWatch tool is telling us 89.3% expect a 25 point basis rate hike today. 10.7 chance of a pause. I mean, it's probably what's gonna happen. So we have to see. Nike had good earnings that came out. What else happened? I had it here. Let's see. I was just looking at some of these. Yeah, GameStop beat earnings. Nike. So those are a couple of things that I know that they went a little crazy after market. So that's that. We can get into. We know the news is coming today. I don't have to show you guys that. Let's get into the daily chart. Now look at where the SPY ended up. I talked about this yesterday. The Fibonacci 50% retracement from this high to this low. 50% was right here. Look where it came. That was where the high was put in. Right to the anchor VWAP of the FOMC, and it just went by the all-time high anchor VWAP. And just under the 50-day moving average, right? Get rid of these anchor VWAPs. Make it a little clearer. So right here to the 50% Fibonacci. And let's see what exact high was. 399.41, like 7 cents off of that 50% retracement. Right in time for the FOMC. So pretty interesting. 9 no, the 20-day simple moving average was support yesterday. Right there. So that was the SPY yesterday. Qs, took a little, went up here to this resistance, came down today, got support the 9 daily EMA. Yesterday went through 308.99. This was previous resistance, and poked its head above it and held it towards the end of the day. So obviously Nasdaq's a lot stronger, right? No doubt there. The Dow. Look where the Dow came. Dow went right up almost to this 326.57 level, which is a key level, right? Resistance at the 20-day simple moving average. Also this swing low, right? And a 38.2 Fibonacci. So that's where the Dow came. Broke out of this little range, kind of at the bottom of the swing low, right? So that technically came up to a good point. Let's look at the IWM. All right, that's great. I just had to smell my daughter's breath. Hilarious. So the Russell, right? Russell fib down to the low, right? So here's the weakest of the indexes, right? Russell only was able to come up to the 23.6 Fibonacci, right? And the top of this range tried to peak above and came right back right onto this key level of 176.67, which is also the resistance here. All right, so right on the 9 daily EMA. So technically all these guys came in like at a technical level. So based on this, I mean, whatever happens today, you got a clear play, kind of clear. It's not clear because FOMC is very volatile, but I mean, it's right at a key level. So you're gonna go down to these lows. You might go back up to the 200-day moving average, which is right here on this key level, 181. I mean, or you got, I mean, very technical. All right, let's look at the TNX. TNX is rising. Now, does the bond market know something we don't? Usually does. So we were down here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and we broke out yesterday. Now we're moving up again. So the bond market could be tipping its hand a little bit, thinking the market's going to go down, and usually that's the smart money. So this has happened before. When this run happened and the market was not going down. Then it started to. Late in the bond, right in the yield started to rise. The markets finally started to follow the bond market. So could this be an indication that we're going to get some selling? We have to see, right? Let's look at the VIX. VIX getting crushed. So the VIX is down to 21.58. Right here, below 22. So today I expect this to move up higher, closer to that statement. And let's look at the dollar. Dollar is getting definitely in a little bit of a downtrend here, holding at 103. Definitely in a little bit of a downtrend. All right. I'm going to switch this up and let's just look at the stocks that I like to trade. We can see where they are. Okay. We can see here. Let's look at this weeklies. I like to look at the weekly charts. And a lot of them came to like key areas in the market. Let's see, Google. Let's go back to this. So we're looking at Google right now, but let's start with BABA. So I always like to look at that hot pink line. That's the 10-week EMA, which is very pivotal to show strength or weakness. I've said this before, but just now Nvidia is crazy. But look, came up to this key level right here, right? 265.82. So It hit it last week, and it went to it again. This is way overextended. Doesn't mean it can't move higher, but it's definitely way overbought. Goldman Sachs, obviously, underneath the 10-week EMA, but held this 303.63 level. Held it. Okay. Let's look at Meta. Meta, look. You're going to notice the same thing on a lot of the stocks. This 202.03 key level right here, it's above the 10-week EMA, and it went up and touched and broke this level, came back down the week before, right? Closed here, but we moved right back up to it yesterday. So we're setting up for a breakout, or or the run is over and we're going back, right? Microsoft is a little bit of the weaker, right? So it had a huge candle right up to this key level of 283.33, bounced off 271.52. But the move was made last week. This week couldn't get up there because Microsoft's been relatively weak. So, but above the 10-week EMA, right? Snow was a little bit of the weaker, under the 10-week EMA. Okay, and this what level is this? This is the 142.29 level. This has been resistance, resistance, resistance each week, but we're up there, closed there yesterday. All right. Apple. Now Apple, above the 10-week EMA, above the 157 level. That's the one that actually broke the level a little bit. So Apple is a little crazy. So this is very interesting, very bullish candle here. Have to see what happens here. Amazon came up to the key 185 level right here. So last week came up to it, got it, resistance, and then we bounced off the 96.55 level above the 10-week EMA and found resistance right out. You see the pattern, right? A lot of them are hitting these big resistance levels. Look at AMD. AMD skyrocketed off 78.41, big candle last week. Came up to it, got rejected. Has a doji so far this week. It was relatively weak yesterday. Okay, but again, this week it did hit that level, but came off of it. Boeing's a mess. All right, it's had this 215 resistance hit so many times. Okay, and it's got like support at 197, and 203 has been support, but it's just crazy. All right, but it was this 10-week. You can see the 10-week EMA was like very supportive. Finally broke it, came above it, and then this has been messy. But basically, 215 level, I have alert set. Broke out of this range, but now we're coming back. So I am interested in a long eventually. If BA is down a little bit, but I'm definitely be interested in a long. And, best definitely target this 215 level, then target 229 because they just got a contract awarded too. So, and then finally Google. I think I started with Google, but I don't think I talked about Tesla. All right, so Tesla. Obviously, everybody knows it got hammered, made a big run up, right? Kind of went up, has a resistance of 208.69, right? So that was like 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, couldn't break that. Finally had some selling put in, found support of 167. You can see it broke and closed underneath the 10-week EMA. Last week it hit it, it was resistance, but this week went above it, went right to the 198 level. So this 198 level was resistance, and then resistance again, and now it hit it yesterday. So big levels being touched, right? Waiting for the FOMC. So I just wanted to show you guys that because they're pretty much stocks set up perfectly to either break out or get rejected with this FOMC. All right, let's get back to market profile. I did that because today, is there a lot of edge in the market profile? Well, we'll look at that. Okay. Let's look. Let's look at what the market's doing right now. Okay, so what do we have here? Right? Yesterday, I said I would be surprised if it went through this level, right? Well, it got rejected the first time it went up there, and then it just squeezed all the shorts from earlier and did actually move up into the supply zone. But I knew it would be tough sledding at first, but then once the move was made back down, it was then fuel to go higher. Okay, so what do we have? We have overnight high. I'm not sorry. Overnight high, which is poor. So you got equal highs up here. Overnight low. There's yesterday's high. There's yesterday's low. I mean, no doubt about it. We're waiting for FOMC. I mean, this is kind of still bullish, holding above this level. Okay, but again, once 2 o'clock happens, all bets are off. It's going to be crazy. And then 2:30 when he speaks. So, but still, what I'm reading right now, we're not below this level. I mean, that would be a little more bearish, right? But the stocks right now that I just showed you are very overextended. Will they get pushed high today before this statement? I mean, there will be movement maybe in the first hour, but then it's going to die. So, right now there's not a lot of edge to this. I mean, I'd be shocked, but I mean, some days I'm shocked, but like if they just rocketed up, off the open, be surprising. I think you could have a little bit of a bull trap here if we do go up because there's still supply here, and then I could see us going up and everyone going what the, and then it gets sold off, and I think we come around here and hang out. You know, I mean, normally I would say this is weak low, but not with FOMC coming here. I mean, we are, look at the profile. We are starting to build some value up here. Previous, still the most traded price of the week is here. I mean, sorry, here. So we haven't built it out yet. So we stay up here. That is bullish. But, once that FOMC comes out, all bets are off. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of edge here. You do have a bullish imbalance. But, like, again, stocks are so overextended. I mean, a day trade is different than, like, really going for it. Like, I would never long up here. But there is, you could see this volume is very top heavy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You could see a little push to make this profile complete. That's what I'm saying. I could see a little push, and then, we probably come back and just bounce. That's what I see happening. Nothing to really note here in the middle of yesterday's range at this monster level. I mean, it's just not a lot of edge here to look at. Okay. I wish I had more, but like obviously today's a huge news catalyst. That's gonna we're gonna do something big, very pivotal. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq obviously has been a lot stronger, right? And what that did, that came right into the demand zone, and then it went higher yesterday. All right, so the Nasdaq, is very balanced right now in the overnight, right at the midpoint of the overnight. It's just waiting. And you got the high of yesterday, the high of the overnight, the low of the overnight, the low of yesterday. I mean, it's just balancing. That's really what this is. It's bullish for now. How would I play a SPY option trade for the FOMC today? Um, the only thing I'd probably, I'm not crazy about playing too many things. Um, the first move is usually the wrong move on the FOMC. So if big levels are in play and it's respecting it, like let's say the big volatility happens and it's finding resistance or finding support at a key level, and I think that first move's like the wrong one, it's like a trap. Sometimes I do what's called a back spread, um, and that's kind of like an advanced like thing. So, because you expect a big move, that's why you do a back spread. Um, yeah, that's the only like thing that I would probably, like I said, if a big level, like let's say here in the Nasdaq, let's say we come down and we're respecting the most traded price of the week. Let's say the first move is ripped down here and it's kind of holding and holding and holding and holding, and then you see sentiment start to change and we start to move higher, I might throw a back spread on here. So, but again, that's an advanced. Um, that's kind of like an advanced thing. And how that works is you sell like an at the money. Like if I was going to go long, I'd sell like an at the money call and then go buy two out the money calls. And I'd structure it. I would structure the trade so that I basically get a credit. I get paid to put it on, or I pay a very, very, very small debit. And so what that does is that if I get a credit, okay, and I'm wrong, and the market rips down, right? I get paid. I don't have any risk. Now, it's advanced, so I'm just giving you, there's a lot of things to do to your expiration. You want to go long in the expiration. You want to go like at least 30 days to 60 days out. However, if I feel like I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong in like the next 30 days or so, and it rips down, well, I'm going to get paid or I'm going to only have a small debit. But the beauty of it is, if it works in your favor and you get a violent move higher, that's which why I would play the call side. If this was holding and this was the first move and something, the market's turning bullish, that's when you get paid, and you get paid like you see the spread expand, and then the profit is infinite, but it's an advanced spread. So not to say that it's advanced. It's not just buying a call or buying a put. The only other thing I would do is possibly do an SPX credit spread. Again, saying same thing if something's being respected, but then I'm taking on more risk because I'm gonna have a loss. I'm not saying the back spread doesn't have risk. It does. There's a thing called the valley of death in the back spread, and you don't want to be in the valley of death. So I don't want to get too far into it. I hope I answered your question. Probably not what you were looking for because it's a back spread, but and obviously on the put side you do the same thing. You know, that's went off a little on a tangent there. Hope that explained it. But I don't really plan today. I can't. I'm actually not going to be around for FOMC, unfortunately. But if I was, that's what I would be doing, and it's worked for me. The back spread. Um, Research it on the internet or something because it's a pretty cool spread if you know how to play it. Anyway, so again, today's we're balancing, waiting for FOMC. A lot of stocks, like I showed you guys, are overextended. So like that's what I'm saying. I think the play even here. Okay, I would say this. Okay, looking at the Nasdaq, you do have a weak low here, right here, overnight low. Right? What does that line up with? The most traded price of yesterday. Now, if the market comes down here, you could get a scalp little short here, because I've talked about this before. Most trader price of yesterday, right? So think about it. Everybody's long right here. It's the most volume traded yesterday. And then what did we do from this point? We went up and we closed up here. And then we have everyone's long from the overnight here. So make this cleaner. So this area right here. So we got 120. What is that? 128.09 is the overnight low. Most traded price of yesterday is like 128. So you could come down here, and I would think if we did, you'd get a quick flush like boop, and you could take advantage of that as a scalp. I'm only saying that because today I can't see a huge move happen before the trade, but that would be something. I mean, then if we hold here and hold underneath here and you get some weakness, we could find ourselves back here in this demand zone. But like I said, I'm cautious because I don't know how much big moves will happen today. But that is weak, a weak low. It's setting up nice. Okay. The other thing I would say is if we do go higher, just like I said when the ES, I think this, you could get a nice short in here. Because I don't think this market, because all those stocks are so overextended and you have a big announcement coming. I think if you come up here, you make, some lower high, and you get some weakness, you could definitely target like the developing point of control in the session, which I don't know what it would be. And then let's say you had 3 contracts on, you target overnight low, right? And then you wait to see if you get that flush, and you could take your target around here somewhere. You know, long is a very hard trade for me to look at pre-FOMC, just because of all the stocks being overextended. I'm not interested in going long up here at all. So I have to see one of these shorts set up, which I'll use. Either I'll trade the futures or I'll use a stock that's relatively weaker. So that's what I'm really looking at today. Like I said, I don't expect much. The volume's going to be super low. I'm waiting for FOMC. But there usually is a move. There's some type of move within the first hour, and then it dies. And then we usually get range bound, unless there's some catalyst that comes out. Okay. Let's look at crude. Because crude just got, they said they're going to keep the production cuts, the oil cuts in place, right? And just right off the bat, crude's oversold. Okay, and you can see a pattern very easily, even in the market profiles. Is this not inverse? Yeah, in like an inverse head and shoulders. And you have this level of like 69. Let's call it 69.80. You can see it's clear resistance here, and it's just setting up because you got a shoulder here. So you got a shoulder here, you got the head, and that's your neckline right here. Or crude could possibly, if it can break this with volume, that's a nice trade. Now, the banking sector woes have kind of been like settled. Financials had a recovery, so that's why crude was brought down. But this is setting up for a possibly nice long in crude. I mean, you got a lot of shorts there at that level. You break it and you hold it. That's a nice short. I mean, a nice long. And in crude, there's not much to talk. I mean, here crude's like 100% net long in the overnight. So we can even like zoom in, and you can even see the profile. Even looking at the profile, it's setting up for a move higher. Okay, because you got the most traded price of the week is here. Okay, it's at the top of the range, which is bullish, and it's holding above it. Right. Look at the profile. This is why I love looking at a profile. Right. You got big volume making out here. taper, you got double distribution here, excess on the bottom, right? That doesn't look like a normal profile. What you would probably going to see is excess build at the top here. So it's setting up for a breakout. But you got FOMC coming, right? And today you have inventory for crude, which might make, that causes volatility at 10:30. So I'm just saying it's setting up technically for a move higher. And finally, we'll just look at these charts. Obviously, perfect timing for the ES. At this monster level, right around it. Monster level is 40.2375. We're hanging right above it, but that doesn't mean much to me. It's still around this level. Okay? So we're doing this or this from FOMC. I'm not saying we go here or here, but I'm just saying we're breaking out of this level, right? Nasdaq's total different story. Monster level, it's way above it. Okay. So monster levels here, that was 122.21. Okay, I got a big node here. Well, we're above this and we're above this. And you can see last month's high is here. We're not quite there. Okay, we're not quite there. And you can see here you have very big resistance at 129.28. You can see these tops here. This is a weekly high. This is a weekly high. So right here. Now that can get obliterated if FOMC, the market likes it. But then you have that monthly high here at about 130.81. Okay. And then finally, just look at the ruddy because that's the weakest. You can just see the difference in the weakness of that. The Russell big levels here and the price is here, and you can see this just like drop, and then you got all this volume down here. So this has got a lot of resistance in here. I mean, if it breaks this and holds it, wow, that could be a nice long, but have to see. Okay. All right, so off the, like I said, there should be something off the open. Like I said, I'm leaning short. If I see weakness, a lot of these stocks are at resistance levels. So I don't even care if they pierce them a little bit. That could be a bull trap just for the morning, But if I don't really see much, I'm not gonna go crazy. And plus, I have a meeting to go to later in the day, and I have to leave actually before FOMC is even released, which just doesn't bother me that much because the trading for that is crazy. I'm not exactly. I'm not like, oh my god, this is the most exciting time to trade like that. I mean, and honest, personally, I don't feel that. I mean, the next day or so, when you really get the feel what the move's gonna do, you know, because this I really don't know what the market's gonna do with whatever decision is made today. So, wish everybody luck today. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. Hopefully, you know, whatever I showed you helped anybody, the way to look at the market, because there's not always a long or a short I'm interested in. So that's it. Keep supporting my channel. Hopefully that, Colby's still there. But give me any comments or suggestions, like, of what you guys would like to see, or maybe I mentioned something that you don't understand. That'd be great. But anyway, have a good day. And if I do see something in the morning, I'll definitely send something up there. But actually, one thing I wanted to show you guys, I did make a short about it. And I'm going back here. I did make a short about it yesterday, but I have to point it out. And I didn't. I made a short, but I really want to point this out. It's something that's pretty Give me a sec here. It's this trend line in the Nasdaq. It is just something to behold. You just freeze on me here. Let me see if I can pull it up in the. I'll pull it up in the futures in TOS instead. I don't know. That's the right. Ninja Trader just crashed on me. That's just awesome. But let's just go. I'll just go to the futures in here, and you'll just see it here. It's just something to behold. Alright, so I'll put that back up here. So this is just the Qs, right? On an hourly chart with the extended hours. And this trend line is just, I mean, let's just make this a little bigger here. Let me see if it's the low. Yeah, right here. This trend line is just crazy how much it's been respected. I mean, this is just insane. This is an hourly chart, right? Just like once, twice, didn't even touch it here, but 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, this thing has not been broken yet. I mean, if it gets broken, obviously, that's something to say about it, right? But like, geez, it's just crazy how much that's been respected. The moat, they call it, mother of all trend lines. I mean, to me, right now, that's a pretty nice trend line. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. Sorry, I made that a little long-winded, but I'll be back tomorrow. Obviously, pick up the pieces of positive, negative, or whatever they are for FOMC. So, have a good day. All right.